Hi, welcome to the Stocking Knit Zombies. I'm Amy, also known as J-Knitma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It. And this is episode 53.
Ooh.
Yes. And welcome to Crazy Town.
Yes.
If you are a first-time viewer, this is not your typical episode.
No.
In fact, I almost wanted to ask you if you wanted to switch sides.
Oh,
and then I was like,
no.
It's like, because we literally swapped whatever, but then I was like, that would be too weird. I'd be like looking your direction, and Max would be loving you up, and...
Well, and before you didn't mention it before, and we had all set up our little, circle of stuff.
Yeah. I watched the Knit Girls this past week, and I think it was their third episode came up at the end.
Oh.
And they were seated in the wrong side. So, like, Laura was on my left and Leslie was on my right. And I'm like, this is too weird. So at some point, I don't know what episode, they switched sides.
And then they stayed that way.
They stayed that way. Is that as far as you can remember? They've always sat in those sides?
I joined shortly after their first year, I think, of episodes.
Yeah, episode 3 was like in 5 parts or something like that. It was before you could upload probably to YouTube more than 15 minutes. Don't know. Did you have a nice Halloween?
Yes. It was succinct.
Yeah, yes, you had a good Halloween. Okay.
Lots of candy and
no stories to tell?
No, I walked the neighborhood and that was it.
My middle child, Dexter, he had the most fun. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was like the whole, like, he'd run up back from the house, because we were kind of traveling in a pack with all these other people, and he'd run back to me, Mom, they gave me candy after every house. I'm like, that's kind of what we're doing, sweetie. And then he's so funny. He's starting to say more and more words, but like towards the end, he's like, Mom, I want a piggyback ride. And I'm like, does that mean I have to pity you because it's a piggyback ride? So yeah, piggyback ride. I was already carrying around a 30-pound dragon, so I wasn't about to give. It was a 30-pound dragon. My youngest didn't want to ride in the wagon. So yes, he was very independent.
Our one there was a couple odd things, but the one odd thing that we got was a full can of pop. That made our bags really heavy really quick.
Yeah. No rocks or anything? just a bag of pop?
Nope, grape Fanta or something.
Huh, yeah, we got a juice box.
It was a 12-ounce can of pop.
Juice box, or not juice box, like Capri Sun. Those are heavier than candy, though. I mean, if they take up a lot more space. Anyway, that was Halloween.
We are a full-size candy bar house.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to share somebody with that story. Like, if you give away 3 little candy bars, you don't get as much of a cool, and it's about the same price if you crunch the numbers or whatever.
Yep.
So, but if you don't give like a handful of the candy bars away, you just give like one of the little ones away, and that's probably more cost effective.
Yes. Oh yeah, definitely. But I'm totally the reach in and grab a whole bunch kind of person.
Yeah.
And it really helped me to monitor how many kids we got because I only give one thing per.
Yeah.
And the boxes only have X amount per box.
Yeah.
So I count the leftovers and then I know that we had, like, I would say 75 kids this year.
We had a banner year. My husband and I keep track in a spreadsheet. Of how many.
I just count the candy bars.
We tick when people come to the door, and we had a banner year. I think we had like 55, and that was with leaving the front light on until past 8. So generally, when we put the kids to bed, we turn the light off because we don't want people coming up and ringing the doorbell and waking them up. So
we have a mutual friend, and so I'm going to share this story, and you're not going to know who Matt and Angela are, but she'll know who Matt and Angela are. Their block, 300.
Wow.
Because our other mutual friend, Megan, she lives on that block too, and their neighbor keeps track, and so after the melee, she said, "How many did you guys get?" And the lady said 320.
Wow.
Holy crap! I would not be buying 320 full-size candy bars.
Yes.
I would turn the lights off, and those kids would just be sad.
Yeah. Well, it was really nice here, so I think that was why there were so many.
This is true.
Year.
This is true. You got more than just the diehards.
Mm-hmm.
And the little kids went more than their initial block that they usually do.
Mm-hmm.
So, although my kids really wanted to turn back after a block and a half, I'm like, really? Seriously? It's beautiful out. Yeah. We're gonna do more. I was the mean mom. I was like, we're gonna do another block so you can get more candy. I wanna go home. It's cold. Oh, it's not. I don't know. It was really nice, and we were in a horde as well.
Yep.
You know, hooked up with some neighbor kids, and 12 of them descended on a house at once.
Yeah, yep. Like it was an assembly line.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That kind of sounded like the TiVo sound when you're fast forwarding.
It did, didn't it?
But that was actually candy distribution sound effect. So
I did want to say that I got around, and I know we don't talk about TV a whole lot. We do pop culture every once in a while, but I watched The Castle from this week.
Yeah.
I love. I had to rewind a couple times because I loved it so much. I was like, oh,
yeah,
look at that.
My husband got a good giggle out of them making fun of, like, that series has been gone for 12 years and only had 12 episodes, and it was totally, he was making fun of the Fireflies.
But he did mention the Joss Whedon one in that same tirade.
Mm-hmm.
So, because he said good ones, and then he started listing them, and then at the end he said, and that Joss Whedon one. And I was like, but my favorite was, they're doing the whole intro thing, and he says, shiny. I'm like, okay. How many more times can Nate Fillion say shiny and get me all giddy?
Ooh, shiny.
It's just the way he said it was so cool. And then they had all the fake Comic-Con genre stuff kind of made me giggle.
Yeah.
Like when he saw his daughter at Comic-Con. Funny.
Yes.
So yes, I forget who, somebody out online said, this week's Castle is my favorite. And
I think it was Melly Bella.
Oh, was it?
Of his and hers podcast.
Oh, my goodness. And I'm like, okay, it's still in TiVo, so I didn't go down to see what other people had said about the episode. I just kind of plug the ears, la 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 la. I am waiting, and I just saw it. So I'm excited. Loved it.
All right.
My geek flag fly.
We are wearing crazy pants because we are doing a crazy pants long. Mine are long Janes from Victoria's Secret with little kisses all over it.
Okay.
And yours are sock monkey.
Yeah.
Were those the same? Are these the same ones we wore last year when it was Wear Your Jammie podcast week?
No, I think mine are new.
I've seen yours before.
Yes, I wore them to our retreat.
Oh, okay. There's why I saw them. I'm like,
well,
you
have vacationing sock monkeys.
Yes.
Vacationing sock monkeys. They are the best for podcastery hijinks. Because otherwise, they're bright and they're fun, but they're not silly.
Yeah.
These are wonderful, silly, crazy town.
Those are pretty crazy. I'll give you that.
Yeah. My other pajama bottoms are very boring.
Yes.
They're loud and bright, don't get me wrong, but they're not zany.
I said yes, I knew that. I know your whole pajama wardrobe, but I could see where everything was going to pale in comparison to those.
Yeah, my daughter pointed out the Eiffel Tower one. It's like, oh, look, they went to Paris.
It's just so sophisticated.
Well, we were at a restaurant, and there was a picture of Eiffel Tower. And she talked to me about that Eiffel Tower picture for 20 minutes. So now she knows where that is, and she wants to go there someday. Because I told her we would. Nothing like a child's promise to get me to Paris.
Yes, you can do it.
Someday I will go to Paris. Because I promised Lucy I would.
Okie dokie. Alright, we have some drawings to do.
Okay, let's get.
And I have a lot to talk about, so
I only have one thing to talk about.
That's why you're filling. You're filling.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Try not to fill.
Oh no.
Gotta reach down and get the computer.
Ugh.
You're still knitting.
I am. So I'm not being on top of things. All right. So we had 2 KALs last what?
2, count 'em,
2, 1, 2. We had the abalone KAL, which we have 2 prizes. We have the Sun Valley Fibers single ply goodness in fingering weight in the Woodside Gold. Very wonderful. And then we've got Bohemia Fibers Zombie Yarn Eugene the Nerd. Those are our 2 prizes for the abalone KAL. And it was 2 through 61, 2 random integers.
It's not that one.
2 through 40, sorry, not 61.
61 was the weed KL.
Yes.
I knew she was wrong.
And 22 through 36 was the abalone. So number 22 in our fabulous FO photos.
Which one? Before you...
Oh. Let's go with the...
Okay, Sun Valley Fibers. Who's our winner? 22.
Generously donated by Jeanette of Sun Valley Fibers.
Thank you, Jeanette.
Is Mrs. Tennessee 2006.
Mrs. What were you, Mrs. Tennessee 2006?
That would be cool.
That would be very cool.
Tracy from Henderson, Tennessee. Congratulations, Tracy.
Yay.
And she has a very pretty navy blue. Oh, it just linked to the actual pattern. Oh, I was going to say what it was out of, but Naturally Carrion Country in the peacock colorway. And then the other one, this one again, was 36. So if you already heard us say 22 and 36, you may already know who our winner is. 36 is Sally from Idaho, the lady who knits everything. Congratulations, Sally. She has some throughput. Hers is out of Patton's Classic Wool in the royal purple colorway.
Yeah, I don't think that there's a KAL that Sally doesn't participate in.
Yes. She has quite a few. Let's see how many Ravelry projects she's got. 401, you know.
Just 401. Holy cow. And I'm sure there's one where she's knit like 100 hats and it's just
all
in one photo.
Yep.
I know that that's out there somewhere.
So congratulations, Sally and Tracy.
We teased.
Sally, you get the zombie yarn. Tracy, you get the
Tracy,
Sun Valley.
Sally.
And
oops, I'm breaking
dismantling. And thank everybody who joined in on the KAL. It was a lot of fun. I'm going to end up, I think, ripping out my edging a little bit and taking out the the I-cord, not the 3 needle bind off, the I-cord, to make mine a little looser. It's in the pile of things to do. I've got lots of those recently. Some beautiful FOs in that, and away we go on the next. So we had a weave knit along for October, and there is a toy kit, toy birthday kit, and you said another kit that you were, or
oh yes, there's a smaller kit that I've put together. It's got like a small sample of it's over 50 grams of some Dancing Dog Dye Works, but then everything else is just going to be a surprise. But it's monster themed.
So 2 through 61, and we have 35 and 45. So 35.
So this will be our monster themed kitty with the little DDD in it, and that is Memphis Holly. Yay!
We got Memphis Holly in SSK, and she made a Count Weebla.
It is very cute.
Very cute.
Like the cape. I plan to post a pattern for the weeb dress that was generously given to me by Ka Shirley. of the Girlfriends Knitting podcast.
Yep. She sent us a sticker.
But I need time. Yeah.
It's on my notebook.
But I need time because I want to make it look like they go together in the pattern formatting and stuff. And I have yet to do that.
Yep.
Because bad podcaster.
And we have her in our thoughts and prayers because her father had a...
I just want to cry. Tell me about that. Because he's in her little...
I feel like I know him. Yeah. And then, so 45 is Stape 55, who looks like she got a Dancing Dog Dye Works kit.
Yeah.
Very cute. I don't know if he has a name. Let's click on the link.
He also looks like he's got a Nike swoosh for a mouth.
Yes, very cool. And that is Patty from the United States, North Richland Hills something.
Yeah, I guess if we clicked on it, we would know.
Yes. Would you like to drive? Patty from Texas.
Okay. Well, Patty from Texas, you won a birthday kit.
Woo!
Toy kit.
Birthday toy kit with the 716 knit
Yep.
yarn. And congratulations to everybody that knit a weeb. They were adorable.
And I wanted to offer there were 3 folks in the weeb knit along that knit more than one weeb. Now I know that some people out there have knit multiples in the time frame but didn't post them.
Mm-hmm.
But we had 3 that posted multiples in the thread, and it's Liz, No Knit Sherlock, and Jessie Dodd.
I think, it's Jessie Doddington.
Yep, Jessie Dodd. So those 3, contact me if you would like another pattern in my shop. Now, granted, that's only one other one because you have weeb and confetti is the other one. But I do have things in the works, so I'm sure if you're willing to wait, there will be another pattern.
Store credit.
Just keep me honest. Just be like, hey, you got a new pattern and you never gave me one. So,
you owe me one.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll remember. Sure.
and now we have videographic evidence.
Exactly.
So in episode 53, the one where you're wearing crazy pants.
But I really appreciated the everybody's pictures of the weebs and submitting into the knit along. Megan will have to have a knit along for one of her patterns so that she can see all the wonderful, FOs that come pouring in.
I think in December, I've got the For Good hat coming out, and I think it would be very fitting to do a KAL, just because they're really quick knit, and you could do it for Christmas.
Excellent idea. Yes.
So
I wouldn't know if they're quick, because I'm monogamous right now. I can't.
That makes them even quicker. I was polygamous this weekend, and I churned one out, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Take that, monogamy hater. Speaking of which, so the Crazy KAL, I just thought I would point out to other folks that in conjunction with the Crazy KAL, a lot of people would agree that it is crazy if you wanted to knit a sweater in a month. And it is currently, just by chance and your luck, Nanny Swimo. What's that you say? Nanny Swimo? National Knit a Sweater in a Month Club. Or club. Not club, but...
Nanny Swimo.
Nanny Swimo. That's what I say when I see it. I say Nanny Swimo. Or Nan Swimo. Anyway.
Nan Swimo.
Yep. There's a thread out there. A forum out there. A group. With forums, and they've got nice little Ravatar pictures, and so all y'all that are out there thinking about trying to squeeze in a sweater in a month, you could participate in that as well as our Crazy KAL.
Well, we've got the Minestrade out of the way.
And 20 minutes at that, just a little bit of administrivia.
Ministrivia? Okay. We'll say it that way.
I believe that is the correct way to say it. And minestrone? What the heck? That sounds like a...
Minestrone.
Sounds like a soup.
Well, I think like... No, actually... Well, that's true. I was thinking of like the Illuminati.
Oh, okay.
So, I just think it's funny to say it that way.
Okay. Just like me and my playa.
Yeah.
My playa yarn.
Yeah, your playa.
My playa.
From Peruvia.
Yes. I don't think it's from Peruvia. It's Malabrigo. It's from Go Malabrigo.
But you were saying...
I know. I say all kinds of things wrong, Amy. It's a feature.
It's a feature, yes.
So all right, so we've done do you have any finished objects, by chance?
No, I don't.
All right. I'm so excited about mine.
Good for you.
So excited about mine. So this is my low tide, and it is fabulous. If I don't say so myself, it's going to look wonderful on top of my Vampire Weekend t-shirt here. But I just put on the little crocheted hook things. Don't have buttons currently. It's off shoulder for sure. And it does come down to a very definite point up in the front, which I now see in the photos. They kind of have like tucked and held. Like, I'm looking at the posing more now that Amy has pointed out the abalone. Only modifications I made were the I did a garter border here instead of just having it roll, and it still kind of rolls, so it kind of fits that. And I did the same on the sleeve. This is, of course, with the Alicia Goes Around in the Richness of Martin's Mark Antony colorway. Get some fabulous buttons, and I will be wearing it.
Cool.
Yes. And while I had that out, I wanted to bring out my Rocky Coast cardigan because I'll just put it on over the top of this. How many sweaters can Megan be wearing? I had the opposite problem of what a lot of people were talking about, because I did mine before there were like all of the... I did it before the book was actually released, where there was all the warnings about it fitting really tight and don't knit the smallest size, knit ones with positive ease, and mine fits okay. I mean, it's not big like the fancy pants is, but it falls off. It's constantly like, I feel like unless I have the sleeves like this, it's gonna fall off. So I just added some some crochet, and I'm gonna put some buttons there. And
nice. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
So I don't know if that'll work for you, Emily, but
oh yeah,
because if it was too big.
But you haven't put the buttons on yet.
I have not.
So yeah, it looks like it'll work. Because I know in Emily, it looks like it's gonna work, and then you put it on and it goes through.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the worst that's gonna happen is I just rip the little eyelets out. But anyway, that wasn't really a finished object. That was it's been sitting in a pile, and I've been meaning to do it for forever. Like, I haven't been wearing it because it falls off of my shoulders. So making it. This is again some of that, but positive results versus the ones that I had before with the Berlini yarn. This is a cashmere blend, so it's really soft, and it's held double, which made the cables pop. Got to get my pop in for this week. And that's not really an FO, so my second FO. This is another for good, and I've had some questions. I'm not talking about it because there's some secret something going on with it. I just don't want there's meaning behind it, and I just don't want to cry during the podcast while I talk about it. So I'm going to save it all for one episode where I can just be a completely weepy mess and not care. But this is two of my favorite things combined into one. So love the hat. I love the hat because I know the designer, and I don't know, I think highly of her. But two, this is TML. TML held double. So this is the maple leaf colorway that was left over from my color fiction.
Okay.
So don't you think, I mean, it just really, the slight tonal variegation like really makes the colors pop. It's got I went out and did a Google pronunciation. It is Pymatunig.
Oh, okay.
Is the name, Pymatunig Crafts. I got her, this is in Elm, I think. I didn't have this This is maple leaf, so I thought it would be really matchy-matchy if I had a maple button, but I did not, alas. And I love it. This has mine. It's not anybody else's. It will be mine. And I had to laugh. I told him my husband saw me knitting this, and he's like, "Why do you keep knitting that same hat over and over again?" And it was like, well, A, it's my design, so I'm kind of like test knitting it, right? And then B, I'm doing them for the holidays because they are in my sister's memory. And so it will have meaning to my family, right? Well, hopefully it will. Maybe they'll just be like, oh, that crazy Megan and her knitting shenanigans. But, yeah, so it was just funny. He's like, wouldn't it get boring to just knit the same thing over and over again? Like, yep, Stockinette Zombie came about because of that. So those are my 2 FOs. And I'm going to let you talk for a while because I've got a lot of works in progress, which is completely Bizzaro world if this is the first time that you have watched the podcast.
Yes.
Normally, Amy has the whip parade, and I'm just sitting over here going, I'm working on this one thing, same thing I worked on last week.
So here is monogamy. This is olive, and I really like the pattern. It's going to be an amazing FO. But I put in
a fingering weight jumper for anybody who isn't familiar with the pattern.
Yes, it's fingering weight.
Very blousy.
Yeah.
So there's like a bazillion stitches on the needle.
Yes, it's lots of positive beads. So I wanted to make sure that people saw, since we have this monogamy curiosity thing going on, this is how far I got on my fingering weight jumper,
which is fantastic.
Miles and miles of garter. I mean, stockinette and then garter. Yeah. And then, yay! I think that there's just one more repeat of this stripe, and I bind off and do the sleeves.
Woohoo!
So we may have an FO next week. But I will say about monogamy is that I have only been knitting on this thing at night and on the bus. It's getting a little big on the bus, and the sleeves might be cumbersome on the bus, but I'm bound and determined to make it work on the bus. But it comes time for Saturday, and I don't want to knit. I really don't want to knit. I don't want to knit until it's TV watching time. So most of the day is not TV watching time for our family. So then, like after the kids go to bed and I've, done a few errands or, things I needed to get done, and then I sit down, then I knit. So I don't feel like I've gotten as much done as I could have, because by the time the weekend came, I was like, I don't want to knit. And normally I would just pick up another object and start knitting on it instead. So what I have to show for it is I brought my works in progress spinning. So these are the singles from the contrast, and this is the singles from the Crazy Bat. So the Crazy Bat I'm not a fan of, with the sparkles and the whatnot.
I've heard people say that the sparkle is kind of hard to...
Well, it is, but the thing that I noticed about it that I didn't like, and it wasn't necessarily the sparkles per se, it was the clumping. So I don't know if her bats aren't blended as well as other bats, and you can go look at when I mention this. I'm not going to mention them again since it's not a favorable review. But it could just be bats in general are like this, or maybe it's considered an art bat because of the way that it wasn't blended very well. But it had the stellina or whatever in clumps, or even, I think there was nylon in this, and there was nylon in clumps. And so you get to spinning, you feel like you're spinning with all nylon, or all sparkles, or all, it felt like, okay, I'm just doing a succession of different fibers instead of having them blended in a cohesive way. And it was very disruptive to my happy chi, I don't know, it's a very zen process spinning, and it just interrupted it, and it didn't like it as much. So I spun like the wind just to get that off the wheel so that I could go back to spinning the single for the contrasting color. And then I'm going to triple ply or 3 ply the second single of this color and this and all that together looks like it's going to be pretty significant. Maybe worsted.
Wow.
And it might be a lot of yardage too. I don't know. This one was spinning super thick and thin because of that weird consistency problem. Like, oh, I'm spinning nylon now. Or, oh, I'm spinning wool now. Oh, I'm spinning sparkle now. And it just really bugged me. I don't know. Again, so bats might not be my thing. But I do have one other bat that I had just gotten. And it's got sparkle in it, but it seems to be very well blended. It's not, it doesn't look like it's crazy, insane bat. It's like all very consistent and fluffy. So I might change my mind about bats again. But so far, not crazy about it. That's it. Your turn.
Okay, so my crazy...
She switched during the show.
I did, because I wanted the full experience. Plus, my polygamy coach, normally I would be texting her right now, and she would be like, time to switch.
Oh, gosh.
So Susan has been helping me a great deal with the needing to switch. So...
Well, and see, my polygamy is very much based on where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like, I have couch knitting, I have car knitting, I have bus knitting.
Yeah.
They're all different projects.
My reflections on polygamy include the reason why I am not polygamist is A, I hate casting on. It's like way too much, like not feeling like knitting and counting, and I don't like balling up yarn. I felt like I spent a whole night just sitting there going...
Right, but see, that you had it all at once, yes. Right? If you staggered it like
it's
me.
True. It's true. If you just kept on casting on things as you continued along. And then I think either A, I don't get bored like people do. Like it just, you know, my mind stays, I'm doing something else or whatever. You know, like it doesn't bug me. I don't get bored with the project. My natural tendency and the thing that's been hardest for me is when I set something down, that's the thing that I want to pick up next. Oh. So my brain doesn't go, I want to do something else. It's like, no, I was doing that and I want to do it again. So I'm kind of like a marathon runner in that it takes me a while to warm up to a project, like a runner. It takes me a couple of miles to really get into it and be running and be happy that I'm running. And then once I am going, I want to stay doing that same thing, right? Mm-hmm. So that's been my struggles. And it hasn't like driven me crazy to the point where I don't want to knit. It's just kind of like I feel guilt about like, oh, I should probably be knitting that. No, I've knit on this too long. The socks go to work with me. And then the sweaters have been getting a lot of love at home. Although I do carry a sweater and a sock project with me at all times. So anyway, I'll just continue on into the madness. This is the Vanilla Bean sock by Emily Locke. Which is basically just do your normal sock, but when you get to a new row, you do a knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, a new row, a new stripe. You do a knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, slip, and this is out of Vesper. And I don't know if you can see kind of the little reticulation, and it's very, between the blue and the yellow, it's really obvious to me, some of the yellow-green. And this is out of Vesper, and I had a false start with this. These are Vespers as well, knit on ones, and they are kind of falling apart. This monkey sock, because they were on ones, and Vesper is very much a light fingering. So I cast these on and ended up ripping them out because I didn't like the fabric I was getting. It was just very airy. So they're now on zeros, and I went up stitch count because of that. But happy with that. And then I cast on some Marigold Jen in her BFL base. This is the Zenith. Cannot say enough nice things about Marigold Jen. And this is a sock for my husband on ones. You can see the pop of color coming out. And I've gotten to use quite a few bags now. This is
she's using all her bags.
Not all of them. I kind of got crazy for a monogamous knitter. But I'm going to try to come up with some patterning. You can see I tried and I ripped it back a little bit. But the colors are coming out. The pops of blue and some of the purples and whatever are coming out really well. I held the toe up to my husband's sock or foot and made sure that it was fitting. I like the fabric it's creating. I think he'll like it. It's not bulletproof, but it's not insubstantial either, I guess. And then, gosh, this seems crazy to me, but and more, and there's more. I cast on with Susan Rista 1313 of Girl Cave Bags. Said it right. Don't owe her $1. A lot of people say Cave Girl Bags.
Oh, okay.
The Lady Kina, and I believe that this is going to be my new, if you've never knit a garment and you want to give it a try pattern, because it's top down, really easy. You start off with a garter with no increases, and then you increase for 2 rows, and then you knit, and then you separate for arms, and then you knit some more. And it's a free pattern, and it's top down, and I'm liking how it's coming out. It's really big and blousy, so I feel like I have a bazillion stitches on the needle. And this is out of Madeline Tosh MCN worsted in the black velvet colorway. And so I was very happy once I got the arms off of the needles, because look, they're going to be really blousy too. There's a million stitches on the needles, let me tell you. And the only modification I've made is that I made 5 buttonholes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rather than the 1 that is pictured, because I don't have what you would call an ample chest, and so I thought buttoning it up and with some of the blouse might make it look more substantial. You got to use things that, and I like it when my cardigans button up. They're not just like flowy. So, and you can always, the thing about buttons is you can always just button 1 if you've got 5, but you can't button 5 if you've only got 1. It's true. True story. So there's that. Keep talking. I'm going to get no knitting done. That's the other thing about all these projects that I have to talk about. I haven't been knitting. But this, I was telling Amy, it reminds me a lot of her abalone. Yeah. The Malabrigo purple something.
Yeah. Something.
Lots of purples, purpley grays and pinks and magentas. It's a very cool colorway. I'm not going to lie. I really like it. And last, but certainly not least, I am knitting the Pomme de Pen, which I got discounted because of our Dis or Dat, with the wonderful Kiki of Yarn vs. Zombies. She's doing hers out of wool mice, so a different weight than the pattern is written for, and out of 2 colors. So she's crazing it up. I'm proud of her. That, and she's in Australia, and she's knitting a cardigan in the middle of the summer. Yeah. How crazy is that? And this is out of the Plucky Knitter that I got in a D-stash from Knit Psycho that we got. And I love the
yummy
lace. Very, 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 very easy lace to memorize. There are literally purling back and 2 rows that you repeat 3 a piece. So it's very easy to memorize and very, I think you get a lot of bang for your buck. And this is, again, another one that's really big, but the pattern says that you're supposed to, so like the finished measurements are 32 inches suggested to fit a 30. So there's 2 inches of positive ease in it. And then the next size up is 39 to fit a 36.
Whoa.
This is a big jump, 6-inch jump. But because my recent issues with having garments be really small, I was like, I'm not a 30-inch bust. And I wanted it to have positive ease. So
39 we go.
39 finished to fit a 36 or something like that. Yeah, 36. So it's going to have a lot of positive ease, but this is the Plucky Knitter Primo Sport. Wonderful to work with. And I'm going to have to, I'm again making another statement here. Sport is my favorite sweater. The worsted seems a bit heavy when you're wearing it, and like it doesn't look as nice and polished. Fingering,
takes forever.
Ever. Love the finished product, but the process isn't as nice. So you kind of average those out and you get the sport garment. Pretty quick. Not as quick as worsted, but the finished garment looks pretty stinking nice, you know, as far as, not that worsted garments don't look nice, but to my eye, the thinner the yarn, the more finished and more professional the finished object is.
This is true. You get a bulky sweater and you're like,
you know, and that's kind of, you know, it's in style. I don't know. But I've got some more crazy things that I'm going to be casting on. I think I'm going to cast on a blanket.
That's nuts.
Crazy. And then I'm going to do another for good. And stay tuned on the for good. I've got 2 finished objects already on the pattern. So hopefully I'll get a no-go from the remaining folks, even if they haven't finished it, and we'll get her released. So if you're anxious and want to hear the story and want the pattern, I'm working on it. And the test knitters are working really hard on it too, and I appreciate them test knitting for me. So Amy's going to get to it once she is not done being monogamous. Although I wanted to point out that I don't know that I'm going to be crazy the whole 2 months, because that would just mean that I would have to be crazy
for a few more months after
to get done with the casting on. Yeah. So, and there's different ways to be crazy. I was going to mention that, and I wanted to bring it to people's attention. We have a lot of project-oriented craziness right now. Like, I'm going to cast on all the things. I've got a bazillion things to do for Christmas. I think it would be really refreshing, and I think I'm going to open a thread, like the craziest yarn you own. Not that you necessarily have to knit with it right now, but like the craziest yarn you own.
I believe I just purchased some.
Well, nice segue.
I got really jealous of the little bit of yarn that Kiki sent. I couldn't split it with you. Sent her cats, because my cats could totally use some of that. So I just happened to be shopping at Joann's, and I found this lovely bit of...
It's the exact same thing, I think.
Pretty much.
Close enough.
And, oh my gosh, it's springy, and the cats just love, you know, grabbing onto one of those big pieces, and I have enough to last them the rest of their lives.
And yours.
Yes, and mine. So I've cut like 3 pieces, 1 really long one and 2 really short ones for just kind of playing with them, and I still have time. But worth every penny, because I got it on sale, and I think this whole thing was like $3.
They gave it away. They say, lady, take this yarn. Nobody wants it.
Well, I think it retailed for $5, so if that helps you. But cat toys aren't cheap.
No.
And
I agree.
My cat...
If that were at PetSmart, I bet it would be like $20.
Yeah. Well, so my cat, who's 11, and very, like, frou-frou, because she's a pedigree cat, and she knows it.
She has papers.
Yes. Was actually playing with this. So she loves it. She was, like, going to town, and just to see her, like, get kind of crazy and like, woo, get the thing, ooh, shiny, was really fun. And the other, you know, my rescue kitty loved it too, but she plays with just about everything. So to get the cat that doesn't play with everything was quite awesome.
Multi-craft yarn mug.
Yeah.
It's a little sipper. I have to refill it a couple of times. I have some enabling. Was that your enabling?
Well, that was the cat enabling. Like, I have actual enabling. I mean, and if you have cats, that's cool. Go buy some. It's cheap, and cats will love it. But spoiler, these are all clubs. Because I only joined clubs I only have club stuff coming in right now. I haven't bought anything. So, I shouldn't say that. I do have some, October, this is Cloud Lover, and her birthday, she had a 29% off coupon code, her birthday weekend. I think it was a birthday weekend. I don't know, I just happened to look at the threads and went, whoa, coupon code, 29% off, I must buy. So I think it was if you spent 50 or more, so you did have to spend over a certain amount to get the 30% off, or 29% off. but totally worth it because I got 3 braids of fiber for under 50, well under 50. And that was shipped and all said and done. So I was super excited. So I got more Cloud Lover on the way. This is my, there's a coupon code on there. Let me color. It says Peacock, and it's merino. And I really like the colors. This one's going to be beautiful. I have a feeling it's just kind of going to get muddied. I don't know how to intentionally spin this to stay this way. But it's going to be beautiful. It's going to make it amazing whatever I make out of it. But again, I think, what was it? I think it's Froggy Monkey Knitting in Circles. She always says, well, I just let the yarn or the spinning go where it may, and then I use the pattern search to find a pattern that'll fit the yarn that I've made. And I think that's kind of the direction I'm going. I intentionally spun this up, and I was hoping for 2 hats, one for me and one for my daughter. So that looks like it might actually turn out. Crossing fingers, right? And I have a few that I intentionally spun for a shawl length, but I didn't know what shawl I wanted to make out of it. So some of these just might end up being whatever it ends up being.
Whatever.
Sometimes I want it to be a monster, and then it ends up spinning really thin, and I'm like, oh, guess I'll get another shawl. You know, kind of, I don't know. We'll see. That might be a humble brag. My very first humble brag.
Sorry. Excuse me.
Don't spit on me. Okay, I'm going to let that braid of fiber sit because that was something I need to talk about a little bit more. So this is another club, Dancing Dog Dye Works. I am in the Monster Club. So I think it's Rachie. She did the pattern, and it's a cute little ball monster with garter stitch ears. It's cute. I don't know if I'm going to get to knitting anything toy related right away, but I love this color. It is Big's Beautiful Blues. So,
nice grays.
Yeah, grays and blues.
Some black up here.
Yeah, probably, I don't know. If there were more grays, it would be a very Mel from Single Handed Knits colorway. As it stands, I don't know. I love it though. It's very cool, and I will probably knit a toy out of it. To be determined, because it'll probably be a long time before I get there. I have too many things going on.
That, and she's monogamous now.
I know. I can't cast on anything right now. I've had like 4 things come into my life where I'm like, ooh, I would love to cast on with you.
That's the fun thing about monogamy, though. I mean, you can kind of play around with, like, your cue. Like, that, I did that daily, you know? Like, I'd be like, ooh, the next thing I'm going to knit. And then by the time you got around to actually the next thing you were going to knit, then you very purposely cast on something, right? You know, because I'm going to have to live with this for a while. You know, I don't know. I did a lot of swizzling and figuring out of yarns and what pattern's going to be next, and, like, planning out my knits when I'm monogamous.
Right. There's a couple people who were going to knit the vitamin D, and I'm like, hey, that's in my queue, and I have yarn for that. I would love to cast on. Not right now.
Yeah.
And then there's, I think there's a couple little KALs where it's like, oh, you know, do this KAL, and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be through my projects in time to participate.
You'd be surprised.
Well, that, because I have 2 crazies, right? Being monogamous and knitting to 0. And you can't cast on when you're knitting to 0.
It's true.
Monogamous, you could. You could just let the other one sleep and monogamously knit through a new project that's new. And I would totally do that. But I wanted to knit to 0. And I'm still very committed to that. I think the knitting to 0 has also kind of helped me curb my spending. But it's weird because when I stop buying yarn, I start buying other things. It's like, the money goes somewhere. It's just not to yarn anymore.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, I had an anonymous benefactor. I got my very first braid of Wool Gatherings. Oh, it's so beautiful. It is so pretty. And, my understanding is she doesn't have colorway names, so this is whatever I want to call it.
whatever, whatever.
Yeah. Green and pinks.
I think that's the second time I've said that this episode. Whatever, whatever.
But this is an organic Polworth and silk. And it feels so wonderful. I have a feeling it's going to spin up dreamily. Dreamily?
It's a word.
Wonderfully. And so yeah, this is Wool Gatherings, and it's my first. Trying to think of what color this reminds me of. I swear I've like bought something very similar to this before in yarn.
And I was in on it a little bit. I got a little bit of an assist there.
Yes. Thank you to my anonymous, not so anonymous benefactor, but I'm not sure if she wants to be named.
Yep.
So I will just leave it as thank you very much.
Yes.
I did her a favor, and I did not expect anything like this, anything at all. So thank you so much.
Random act of fiber.
Yes, random act of fiber, and it's beautiful fiber. This is so pretty.
It is.
So yes,
it's kind of got a little bit of my green.
Pretty, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, this lighter stuff up in here.
Oh, I love this green. All right, and I'm going to not talk about the yarn that I got because I have something else that I want to talk about.
I was gonna, I happen to have one of the other things that I bought in here.
Okay.
So I bought the Smashbox Pop Studio Eye Palette.
Ooh.
I don't wear makeup very often, but I get into like cycles where I'm like, I want to practice and pretend and play beautiful. So this is where some of my money went this week.
Okay.
You can see that it says it was $49. I didn't pay that because the shop was having a coupon, but still $49. So.
Oh, it's reflecting. I'm like, something's flying around. Oh, wait, it's the light reflecting off of the case.
Sorry.
All right. Crazy Squirrel KL prize donated by the wonderful Susan of Girl Cave Bags. There's a squirrel in there. Watch out. There's some Lolo bars and this crazy zigzaggy fabric on the inside. So pretty. I'm so excited. I'm like, I want to use it, but it's a prize.
Oh, this is your prize. Yeah.
This is a prize. Well, the squirrel's not part of the prize. The squirrel's fine. But the prize came. And you will have the opportunity, if you're going to Knitting in the Mitten, to buy her bags. So, Girl Cave Bags. Yep.
They're already there, aren't they? Like, aren't they flying in, some of them?
Yeah, yep. I don't think she's there yet, but...
Yeah.
And then, I know we don't normally do book reviews. I feel so sorry for you.
You've made an extra warm. I forget what I did want to say that I recently acquired some Stampin' Up! Stamps, and one of them, so pretty. It looks like a Herbert Niebling shawl. And it's so pretty. It's floral, and it's, in a shawl, round shawl shape, and it's so pretty. Anyway, that's it.
So not recently, we've had these we've had Flamingo on the Roof, Poems and Paintings by Cleve Brown for quite a long time. And I love this story. And then if you go out on Amazon, a lot of my favorite stories, Weatherby's Diner and I can't remember what the other one, they're actually the look inside. So some of my favorite of his poems are the freebies that you get, but just really cute drawings. Weatherby's Diner is one of my favorites. And if you've got, my 5-year-old enjoys this, my 3-year-old enjoys this. I guess I have a 6-year-old now. I enjoy it. It's one of those things like Shrek where there's connotations and stuff that they don't necessarily get, but they think it's fun. And I just feel like he's, poetry isn't something, it's poetry, by the way. Poetry isn't something that kids get a lot of, but it's fun. So
Cal Silverstein,
yeah. I guess my kids don't.
Silverstein.
My kids don't get a lot of poetry other than this. So I was going to read one of the Amazon freebies out of this book, which is a new one that we got. I didn't realize that those that he had multiple. I guess this is one on the New York bestseller list. So you may already know about him. But Amy didn't, so I was taking that as maybe you guys didn't. And with Christmas coming up, if these, like this one, and I know that I didn't pay $6.99, but that's because it's a soft paperback book is on it. I can't remember how much this one is. Fingers over it. Nope, doesn't say. But Kansas City Octopus. This is so fun. My daughter recites it with me now. Kansas City Octopus is wearing fancy slacks. Bell bottoms, just got 'em, $50 including tax. Red corduroy and boy oh boy, they fit like apple pie. Multi-pocket snazzy trousers, custom made for octopi. Fantastic plastic stretch elastic keeps 'em nice and tight. Kansas City Octopus is looking good tonight. I just think it's fun. And he's got, my daughter counts the arms too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can't say enough good things about, this one's called Polka Bats and Octopus Slacks. The octopus drops smelly polka turds.
I think I looked this one up. It was only like $6.99.
Well, that's what the thing says, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Polka Bats drop polka turds.
You probably mentioned that while I was reading this
yes.
book.
And then the other one is Dutch Sneakers and Flea Keepers and 14 more stories. And then that one is Flamingos on the Roof. I don't have any proof. Very, very fun books. If you haven't heard about them, you have now.
Yeah, the only ones that I have, poetry for kids that I've done is Sal Silverstein, Where the Sidewalk Ends. And other, like, Attic, whatever. What is that one?
There's the one where they flip the words about the bunny rabbit.
Oh, yeah.
Runny Babbit.
Runny Babbit.
And we've tried reading those with our
really
kids. And they're older. I think those are older stories. Like, these are cute for kids that are even like 3 and 6 and
True.
1.
Sister for Sale, One Sister for Sale.
Yeah.
I like that song.
So maybe he's the modern day contemporary. Did Shel Silverstein illustrate his own books as well?
You know, I'm not clear on that. I think he did.
Okay. I don't remember.
They're very bizarrely illustrated.
Yeah, yeah. Not this one, Shel Silverstein.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And Seuss.
Yep.
Seuss. Lots of Seuss.
Yes. I agree with that.
Susie and Seuss. But these seem like they have more of a, I don't know. They're very, I don't know. I feel more like I'm reading real poetry when I'm reading these.
Yeah.
Rather than those other ones. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And I like his art aesthetic as well. You may not. I kind of digged the octopus, but and I think that's representative of his artwork. And I like his color palette and scents, and yeah, they're just really cute. And my husband enjoys them as well, which, you know, kind of validates that I'm not a crazy pants.
I'm sure the cover is on Amazon.
Yes. But that is, I will leave my yarn purchases till later because we're almost at an hour, so you knew.
Who knew? My goodness.
When Megan talks about 5 bazillion things.
Whip parade.
And we had a drawing.
Well, yes. And you usually get very verbose because you only have the one thing, and then you get very verbose about a lot of things.
I don't think I talked that. I think we just had a lot to talk about.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye, Ufta.